15 terrifying photos that don't really have an explanation. People have been fascinated with mysteries since the beginning of time. Murder mysteries flood our screens daily. Aliens and other supernatural creatures have always remained a mystery as to whether or not they exist, and our mere existence and purpose on this mystifying planet is something we may never actually discover. But photography has not been around since the beginning of time, and only within the past couple hundred years have we been growing our collection of mysterious photographs. Pictures are memories frozen in time in a physical format. You can look at a picture and fill your brain with all the possibilities as to what the scenario was like, but the fact of the matter is, you only have one snippet, one teeny tiny millisecond of time captured for all of eternity. The fact that we can actually have a fragment of a mystery to keep forever is both fascinating and frustrating. Sometimes, the picture only adds more to the mystery. It might make us more confused and mystified as to the original scenario it depicts. Not all of these photographs are mysteries themselves. Rather, they are a piece of evidence from a mysterious situation that we still can't resolve. Some are pieces of evidence in crop 15. Masked Man. Seeing a picture like this can be rather jarring. When looking at the edge of a forest, all sorts of mysteries lie behind the thick bushes and branches of nature. But this figure did not seem to be hiding at all, and instead is actually rather close. You think at first it might be a ghost, but the details are rather clear, and it appears to be a full human wearing all white clothing. But the truth is, there is no way to ever know if what lies behind a mask is truly human. Upon investigating the origin of this photograph, results come up empty. Is it some sort of evil figure on the hunt for its next victim, just an innocent man wearing a spooky costume, or might it be something much more sinister than either? Do you have any ideas as to what this could possibly be? 14. Hanging children. Any picture involving violence against children is absolutely terrifying. But realizing that this picture might indeed be real is much more off-putting. After searching the original upload of this picture, there doesn't seem to be much hope. Many users have always linked it back to a short story that involves a child murderer, but the author eventually came forward himself stating that he had no idea where the original image actually came from. Ever since then, it has remained a mystery as to what exactly happened to these children. It can be pretty hard to fake a photograph that gives such a real and eerie feeling, but we surely hope that's the case. And if the photograph is real, what exactly led them there in the first place? We sure hope that if the true origin of wherever these photographs came from does appear one day, it will be revealed that it was all just a joke. 13. Mysterious Man. A first glance at this photograph doesn't really reveal much. It just looks like a fence in front of some pretty blurry images. But the reality is that we are looking at the only photographic evidence of the murderer of Jennifer Kess, an Orlando woman who has been missing since 2006. Now we shouldn't say murderer necessarily, as no other evidence in the case proves that she is not still alive. But one thing we do know for sure is that this man, that we can barely make out behind the gate, definitely has to have something to do with her disappearance. He was caught on security footage returning her car back to her home. The camera only took snapshots in 3-second intervals, and within each of the 3 seconds, his face was hidden by the iron gate. The most frustrating part is that he was careless enough to not look out for cameras, but he was still lucky enough to not have his face seen in the footage. 12. Hooded Figure. Like the image above, this is another photograph that remains a mystery as to where it originated. It was always known as the picture for a story on creepypasta, but again, the author himself has admitted he does not know the origin. The photograph has been posted on multiple Reddit boards begging for an answer as to where it came from originally. Unfortunately, no one is sure. An image like this without knowing the story behind it can be extra terrifying. Is it a who would take this picture of themselves and why. Perhaps it was a mixture of a scary mask and some Photoshop skills, but we may never truly know the origins. 11. Creepy clowns. Clowns have been around for thousands of years. They haven't always been clowns, but people have been wearing crazy costumes and full faces of makeup to entertain for years and years. Clowns were originally intended to be funny, but within the last 100 years, they have become a much more terrifying subject. Clowns nowadays are known for lurking around at night and scaring civilians in quiet neighborhoods. This new trend has made real clowns upset, as they are still entertainers who want to put on a comical performance. But these sinister and mysterious clowns have a much different idea as to how they'd like to spend their time. What do you think of the clown trend? Is it something the thought of which terrifies you, or is it simply just another trend for which you're waiting to go away? Either way, let's just hope this clown in the photo above is just an it for the scares. 10. Who's in the window? Looking at this photograph just reveals a simple little girl posing for a photograph. She doesn't look too enthused to be the subject in the picture, but nonetheless, it's still normal to want to take pictures of your children. But when you look up, you see something much more interesting in the window. Behind the dirty glass, you can make out what appears to be a person sitting and staring back at the camera. Now, they don't look that terrifying or harmful, but you still can't make out the full picture, so who knows if the person is actually supposed to be there or not. For a while, this photograph has been circling the internet on different sites and message boards as photographic evidence of an actual spirit. But no one has come forward to claim they know the true origins of the story. What do you think? A ghost or just a human photo bomber? 9. Something in the grass. Looking at this picture can bring peace and serenity. It appears to just be tall grasses along the shore topped with a mildly gloomy sky. But when you take a closer look, you'll see something much more terrifying. This photo was taken on someone's family vacation. They ended up posting it to a Reddit board stating that they had not seen the figure when they first took the picture. After several people ran it through Photoshop or other photograph altering services, it was revealed that it was indeed a real picture. Some people are still skeptical and believe that the original poster just made up the story to gain attention and followers. But if you look closely, it really does seem like something that would be pretty difficult to fake. In the right-hand side sticking out of the grass, the figure doesn't really appear to have a clear face, but you can definitely make out two very terrifying eyes staring back at you. 8. Whose hand is that? This is just a photograph taken of a group of women workers taken several decades ago. When you see the picture, nothing looks out of the ordinary. They all just stare back at the camera, appearing to be mildly satisfied, all of them holding their tools around their waist and standing together as a group. You might not think there's anything wrong in the photo at all, but take a closer look. Start counting their hands. Something just doesn't seem to add up. Notice the girl all the way on the right. Who in the world does that hand resting on her shoulder belong to? Once you make the realization that there is someone else in the room with them not pictured, chills begin running down your spine. This image has proven to not be faked, and the original image was just intended to be taken of the group of girls. So what exactly is the deal behind the mystery of the creepy extra hand? 7. What are they wearing? This picture looks like something taken straight out of an X-Files episode. The headgear that the many theories as to what might have happened to her, but no one truly knows where she is or how she got there. Some speculate she went to meet someone and it went wrong. Others think she was kidnapped and someone tried to crash her car a bit to make it look like a struggle. What do you think happened to her? 5. What is in the grass? This is another picture that shows a sinister figure lurking in the grass. Obviously, the guy in green is meant to be there, as he is the subject in the picture. But to his left, hiding in the grass, is something that wasn't there when the picture was taken. The photograph was taken by the man's girlfriend, and the image was uploaded to Reddit by his daughter. She stated that at the time of the photograph, they didn't notice anything at all lurking around in the grass. Other pictures from the day don't reveal the image either. And when they went back to that spot at a different time, no tree stump, rock, or other object was around to explain the strange shape in the grass. It was also rather short grass, so it wouldn't have been easy for the figure to hide out and lurk around in the grass. What do you think the figure is? 4. What is this a skeleton of? The picture above is known to many as the Atacama alien. And it looks exactly like that, a rather strange and creepy alien. The truth is, however, that this has been studied many different times by many different scientists, and it has been proven to be completely human. Many believed it to just be the mummified skeleton of an unborn baby, possibly one from a miscarriage. But upon further investigation of the skeleton, it was revealed to have the same features, structures, and bones of that of a 6-year-old child. You can see that the skeleton is incredibly tiny, not even half the size of a newborn baby. Scientists have been baffled for decades as to what exactly the origins of this little skeleton are. There are no signs of injury either, so the cause of death is unknown. Why is the skeleton so tiny, but also has the features of something much older and larger? We may never know. 3. Sad Satan. The deep web is a place full of mysterious images, videos, posts, and even Game-12 games that baffle audiences and terrify users. If you know anything about the deep web, you know that it can be extremely difficult to access, and not everyone has the ability to use it. It's also full of totally illegal activity. But when has that ever stopped anyone from using it? This game appeared seemingly out of nowhere on the deep web one day. It has terrified and baffled users ever since. It's basically just a maze game that users can walk through and get scared. There are cryptic images, figures, and messages throughout the game that baffle users and terrify even the most experienced gamers and coders. Most can assume it's just from a user who wanted to scare other users in the first place, but the fact that we don't know exactly where it came from is extra terrifying. 2. The handprint that won't fade. In 1877, 4 men were sentenced to death after being committed of gruesome murders. These men were known as the Molly Maguires. They were known to have been murderers, rapists, and arsonists. They were eventually hanged for their crimes. Many have believed that the men were actually innocent and were just used by authorities as a way to send a message to the public. One man who was hanged proclaimed his innocence up until the moment he was executed. Right before he was forced to put a rope around his neck that would kill him, he did something that has remained to this day. He leaned over, rubbed his hand on the dirty floor, and placed it on the wall. He stated that, as long as his handprint showed up on the wall, his innocence would remain. The wall has been painted, scrubbed, and every other manner of cleaning tried, but it has remained to this day. 1. A ghastly figure. This photo is the family of a Reddit user who claims to have had a ghost haunt the family for some time. The woman was known for wearing a white dress cinched at the waist and keeping her hair in a bun on top of her head. The figure would often haunt the girl's grandmother, but it was never revealed who exactly she was. But this picture holds evidence that there was indeed a woman in a white dress who would frequent the home. It's not one of the clear images of people in the picture, it's a rather challenging image to see. Look to the woman standing up in the center of the photo. To her right, you can make out the image of a floating woman right above the crowd. The image has been proven to be legit, and if someone of that time was able to fake the picture using lighting, then they'd be extremely talented.